Hi friends, this is Greg Schneider from Battle Tested Solutions, coming at you live from Tactica Krav Maga here in Santa Clara, California. And it is quite apropos because I'm going to speak to you on the differences between a fighter, a gladiator, and a warrior. We often use these terms interchangeably, and I'm going to dive into what are the differences. In my past videos, I spoke on the differences between anti-terrorism and counterterrorism, and the differences between an operator and an operative. So this week I'm going to have fun at some 3 new words. Now, we hear these terms in the media. We hear it on the news and our sports channels. So and so is a fighter. Floyd Mayweather was a fighter. Fighting is the act of what they're doing. They are fighters. You step in a boxing ring, or in combat sports, in the octagon. By definition, you are a fighter. Now, the act of fighting requires lots of training, of course, and spirit, and a fighting spirit. Now, in that fighting spirit, we could take a little sharp turn there and see how that spreads out to a whole host of different people. We have fighters for civil rights. We have fighters for fight cancer. So and so is a fighter. Because fighting is a violent activity, yet the fighting spirit is what is being honored when we speak of so and so is a fighter. Fighters could also be used in reference in warfare. This is kind of a language change, but in certain other countries, a fighter is in reference to a soldier. In English, we don't always say so-and-so is a fighter with the Marine Corps or with the Army, but it does have that designation sometimes, especially when we're reading reports of fighters with the such and such militia or fighters with on behalf of such and such country. So fighting is no bones about it. It is a violent pursuit, but the spirit behind fighting is applied to even the most peaceful of peaceniks that we have in society. Now, a gladiator can be someone that partakes in fighting, like boxing or MMA, but they do it for sport, for prize money, for adulation of fans. Football players, in a sense, are gladiators. There is an element of danger with their bodies, though in football and even in MMA and boxing, I should say apart from football and MMA and boxing, the object is to fight and to hurt your opponent. Football is definitely a collision sport. There is some emphasis in kind of hurting or stopping the other person, though they won't say that, but it is done so, one, for money, and for fans to create a wonderful atmosphere. If you look at the gladiators of ancient Rome, who were slaves, they fought for the adulation of the fans and for benefits that they would receive upon winning and victory. We don't so much hear of the gladiator spirit as you would the fighter spirit. Now, warrior is a term that does get used about. In my pure definition of warrior, we have to talk about mortality. It is a violent pursuit. You are conducting war. A warrior is mostly aligned with some type of military force who has certain objectives. This could be for a country, it could be for a certain militia in certain countries. A warrior is someone who is trained in the arts of combat. And it's not sport combat, it is real combat. How to be effective at killing another person or taking certain objectives. And with that, we have also the warrior spirit. Now, the warrior spirit, much like a fighter spirit, goes off into the universe as something beyond ourselves. To have the warrior spirit, there's a certain oneness. A true warrior is complete within himself. And so when we hear of so-and-so is a warrior, we're really, I think, talking about completeness. So a fighter is that physicality that can be applied to many different types of people. A gladiator for sport or adulation, or even for the honor of winning something. But with gladiators, you're not necessarily risking your life, you're risking injury. The goal isn't to be killed or kill someone else. But a warrior can serve in their country's military, never fire a bullet in their whole service, but with constant training and discipline, they are in a sense warriors with all of their skill sets that they have within them at their disposal. So, for some of you that identify yourselves as warriors, that's awesome. You have that oneness. You understand your mission in life. For those that are gladiators that train religiously for either that prize or money, or for just the honor of winning something or even competing, I salute you. And for those fighters out there, again, those fighters that have the skill sets of fighting, and for those fighters that fight on behalf of other people or fight certain diseases, again, I thank you as well. So once again, Greg Schneider from Battle Tested Solutions, coming at you again with a few more words to make you think.